Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Jedi Knights Watch. My name is Graham, and today we're going to be doing another do-it-yourself video, a project video if you will. Before we get going, I want to invite you to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that bell so you don't miss any new content coming your way. Alright, as you guys know, I love Maji cases. I have the 6 110 series behind me, love them, they're worth every penny. However, I need more cases because I have quarter scale figures. I have a couple vehicles that I really want to display that they don't fit in those cases. So, I did some homework and I was looking at potentially getting some more Maji cases, but with the price tag of where they're at, I just am not in the spot right now where I can spend that kind of money. I know there's been a few creators out there that have made some cases out of like heavy duty shelving racks, and I thought, maybe, but I'm kind of one of those people that wants the real thing. Like, I don't mind making something myself, but I feel like sometimes I gotta cut corners and it's not always like that same quality, I guess is what I'm saying. Sometimes I rather pay for that quality as opposed to getting a better deal. But with where I'm at, I'm like, well, let's give it a shot. If it doesn't work, at least we can make a video. So I made a new case out of a Home Depot heavy duty shelving rack, and it is the 48 by 72 by 24 deep, and it was $170, so it is a little bit pricier, but it is because it's 24 inches deep, not 18 inches, which is the standard. I needed 24 inches deep because that's going to be good for vehicles and bigger figures, so that's why I went the route of that size. The other things that you're going to need for this project is a 4 by 8 foot hardboard. I got that from Home Depot as well, and then I just cut it to size. I also got some lighting off of Amazon, which I'll put in the description below. And before I get any further, I do want to say that I pulled some of these ideas from Posing with Peter in his video. I did try to make it kind of my own and what fit me best, but I did get a lot of stuff from him, so credit to him for making a video and having a lot of this stuff as well. But the lighting is 4-foot strips of, it's like I guess shop lighting, so it is pretty bright. It is a pure white light as well. Some black spray paint, some 3M adhesive Velcro strips, black duct tape, staples. I got 5/16 inch by 8 millimeter, scissors, and then for those staples, you're gonna need a heavy duty staple gun, a mallet, and then wire tubing to hide the wiring is going to be helpful as well. Other than that, that's all you need. When you're putting the shelving together, there's no tools required except for the mallet. They all just kind of lock into place. The mallet just kind of helps pound it down into the grooves so that the shelving is locked in place. Then, once I got the bones kind of set up, the shelving, I took the particle board shelves and I painted the underside black with spray paint because if I was sitting down, I didn't want to be able to see up and see the exposed particle board, so I painted it black just to kind of make it blend in a little bit better. So that was fairly easy, it didn't take long at all. After I got the boards painted, I then kind of planned out what I wanted to do with the lighting. And the way this lighting works is you can kind of daisy chain it together and just run off of one wire. The only problem is I was about a 1/2 inch too long, so I could not fit them horizontally before they would hit the bars on the side. So I kind of had to run 3 power cords, and I just used an extension cord and ran all 3 to that one. And then I have a Wi-Fi switch to the wall, so I still just turn it on and off from one plug. But that was the only problem that I ran into, was I couldn't daisy chain the lights. I had to just run them separately, run a plug-in cord, and then leave the other end open so I had enough room, and then do that for each row of lighting. And then I used the 3M adhesive to adhere it to the angled part of the shelf, the bracket, if you will, so that the light was kind of pointing down. And it worked really well. So the lighting was pretty easy to do. There's not a whole lot to do there. But something that I did do is I ran the wires out the back, and I actually had these wire tubings left over from my Maji cases, so I used these and I stuck them to the upper right of the cabinet as well, so that I could kind of hide the wiring, because the wiring is going to be white. So you definitely want to make sure that you hide it, whether it be black tape. I actually tried the black tape first, but it was too shiny. I didn't like it, so I actually just used the tubing here, and it worked really well. You can get this on Amazon as well, so it's pretty easy to find. Once I got the lighting installed, I then took my hardboard and I just measured out the back of the shelving itself, so I knew what size I would need. I took a crayon marker and I just marked with a straight edge where my line was going to be, and then I used a jigsaw that I had on hand, and I just cut right through it. Really easy, took a couple minutes. If you don't have a jigsaw, you could probably use a handsaw if you really wanted to, or a jigsaw is probably going to be like $30. Worked really well. Once I had that cut, I then took some bed sheets, some black bed sheets, and this is an idea I got from Posing with Peter because it worked really well. They're thin, they're soft, and I wrapped the bed sheet around that hardboard, and then I just took my staples and my staple gun. I pulled it taut so that it was like, there was no wrinkles or anything in it, and then I stapled it all throughout the edges. Again, super simple. Anybody can do this. It doesn't have to be perfect because you're not going to see it. You're just going to see that front black part. Once that was done, I then flipped the shelving on its front end so that I could lift the hardboard on the back, and then I just took my black tape and I literally just taped it to the frame of the shelving. I don't know how well that's going to hold over time, so if any of you have a better idea of how I could adhere it to the back of the frame, I'd love to hear it, but I just used duct tape. Seems to be holding pretty well so far. Once I had the hardboard secured on the back, I put the shelf back to where it needed to be, and then I just did the same thing with the boards. I just flipped them over on their backs, and I just cut I laid it out on the sheet, and then I just kind of cut the sizes that I needed, and then again I pulled it tight on all edges, and I started stapling and just pulling as I stapled just to make sure that it was super tight. Again, took about 10-15 minutes per shelf, and then once you have that done, you just put them into place, and voila, you're done. Like, it's that easy. You could get this done if you have all the supplies. You can get it done in about maybe 3 hours. So it is a really simple project. There's things that I like about it, and there's things that I still prefer Moducase over, and I'll get into that here in 1 second. But the last thing that I did was just I kind of hid the cords behind the shelving unit itself, so we wouldn't see cords everywhere. We just have one cord kind of coming out of the bottom, and it worked really well. I didn't use plexiglass, and there's 2 reasons. 1, keep the cost down. 2, I don't have a local place that I can actually buy plexiglass at the size that I needed or have it like custom cut. So for now, I'm skipping that part. And the reason I don't mind is because I'm putting bigger figures in there. I'm not putting a ton of 6 scale figures in there, so I don't mind if I have to just run the Swiffer duster over it once a week or once every couple weeks. It's going to be vehicles, it's going to be quarter scale figures, not as hard to dust. Keeping all of my 6 scale in the Moducases so I don't have to worry about that, because dusting 1 6 scale figures is a headache, so I don't want to do that, but this I can handle, so I didn't mind not getting the plexiglass right away. The other thing is you don't have to worry about a glare, so that's cool, but at the same time I feel like it's extra exposed because there isn't that protective cover over it, so that is a little worrisome, but it looks great. I'm really impressed with how it came out. I think Moducases would, for the DF series, the 3 cases that I would need in this area, it would cost me about $950, and for this project it cost me about $250, maybe $275 all in. It did help that I had the stapler and the jigsaw and the mallet and the wire cable, so I didn't have to pay for that. So I would say $250 to $300 and you're all in. Again, without the plexiglass, I think it's still a pretty good deal. Would I rather have Moducase? Still, yes. But if I'm taking price into consideration, this is definitely a win. There is something about, this is going to be more low maintenance because I don't have to worry about plexiglass or like the black vinyl tape over it peeling off over time. The only thing I'm a little concerned about is the hardboard on the back maybe peeling off. But if you guys have any ideas of how I could adhere that so it would last longer, I'd love to hear from you. But that's pretty much it. It's super simple. I hope I didn't miss anything. Anybody can do this, even Fabs Figures. You don't have to be a handyman to do this. It's super simple. I think the black sheets look great. You could spray paint it. Some people have used like a faux leather. The sheets are cheap and they work well because they're really super thin and they're all black. You could go white backboard and white shelving. You can do whatever you want with this. You can customize it to what you want. The other nice thing is I'm only using 3 of the 4 shelves. So if I really want over time, I can adjust the shelves because I'm not worrying about plexiglass. I can put the shelf in. I can adjust this. Whereas Moducase, it is going to be, at that size. That's what you're going to get. You can't adjust it. So that is something that's pretty cool, is I can kind of fit this to how I need it. So if I get more vehicles, maybe I need to put in that 4th shelf, I can do that. But for now, I think it looks super clean. Again, you don't have to paint the frame because it's already black. So it's a win-win. Is it as good as Moducase? No, but am I saving a ton of money? Yes. And at that point, that's the big deal right now. So for you out there collecting, and if you're on a budget, getting a few of these racks, doing this project, you could really up your display and save a bunch of money. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully you guys like this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And until next time, stay safe out there, and we'll see you soon.